Good morning, guys. Welcome to yoga this morning, or if it's not morning for you, if you're not watching this live. Balancing and bending is the theme of today's class, which obviously is quite self-explanatory. It's quite a funky flow. I must have been high with some caffeine when I planned this one. It's some good sort of funky transitions, perhaps some things that won't feel familiar because you're like, oh, where's she going there? But trust me, with where I'm going, it all works out really, really well. There's a few postures in here where I would class them as intermediate, maybe even towards advanced poses, but I'll offer more beginner options first. And you can choose what level you want to take just to try and make it challenging and accessible for as many people as possible. So never feel the need or the pressure to do something that you're not comfortable with in your own practice. So we're going to start down in child's pose. So if you widen your knees to be about as wide as your mat, big toes together, and then walk your hands away from you, let your forehead rest to the floor, and just find stillness here. The body can stay pretty soft to begin with. Feel that heaviness of your hips as they sink down towards the feet. Finding length in the side body with those arms nicely extended out above you. Just start bringing your attention towards your breathing. A nice deep breath in. And a slow breath out. And just allow yourself to deepen the breath a little here, just focusing on the movement, feeling the expanse and the shrinkage of your chest as you breathe. And work your way up to a nice, strong, energetic breath. Inhaling, expanding into the chest. Exhaling, feeling the body become heavy, but stay soft. As you inhale, maybe your fingertips can start to crawl further away from you. As you exhale, you can press your hands into the floor to press the hips closer towards the heels. Again, breathing in, feeling that length. And as you exhale, feeling the sink. Great, then walk your hands all the way in until you're sat up onto your shins and just bring them closer towards each other. Sitting the body nice and high, take a deep breath in, come to hold your own elbows above your head, thinking of sending your arms as far behind your ears as you can. We want to try and keep the core engaged, but a little bit of a back bend shape is fine here, a little lift of those ribs, keep your core nicely braced. On the inhale, think of elbows lifting up towards the sky. And as you exhale, feel like you're trying to pull your elbows apart. So you're pulling in left and right directions. So there's no actual movement, but your shoulders should feel the difference in how that feels. Each inhale, let them grow taller. Each exhale, keep pulling. Great, one more breath in here. As you exhale, let your body lean slightly towards the right. Take your gaze towards the left, kind of like under your left armpit, and feel that extra length in the left side body. Breathe into the left side. And as you exhale, come back towards center. It's a very small movement. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale a little bit over towards the left. You really don't have to go far to feel it. Send your gaze towards the right. Keep those elbows going back behind the ears. Deep breath in. And then breathing out, release those arms, maybe give them a couple of circles or a little shake out to feel a little more normal. Bringing your hands on the mat in front of you to move through some cat and cow. Take a deep breath in as you dip down through the ribs, lift through the chest and take the gaze to the sky. And as you exhale, rounding through the spine, tucking the tailbone and hollow out through the belly. Again, breathing in, scooping, shoulder blades squeeze together. And as you exhale, round, pushing into the arms and broadening shoulder blades. Great, one more, breathing in. And breathing all the way out. Lovely, this time keeping those toes tucked under, sit yourself back onto the heels to give the soles of the feet a good old stretch out. Maybe give those little toes a tuck to make sure they're underneath. Taking your arms out wide like a big capital T shape, keeping your torso as upright as you can. Breathe in and hold here. As you breathe out, twist towards the right. So there's nothing that's going to help you twist. You're using your core muscles. Left arm reaches forwards, right arm reaches back. Hold that twist, see if you can go that little bit further, breathe in. And then breathe out, place that right hand to the floor behind you and lift that left arm up and back. So it's a little bit like a seated camel. Use your inhale to come back towards center and exhale to come to the front. Breathe in. Breathing out, twist towards the left. Right arm is reaching forwards, left arm is reaching back. Keep the chest nice and tall. It should feel quite challenging. Hold it, inhale. Exhale, left hand goes down, right arm reaches up and over. Reach through that right side. Good, inhale, come back to face center. One more each side. Exhale, twist towards the right. Hold that twist, keep moving as far around as you can. Think of strong through the core. As you exhale, right hand goes down, option to do the same, or lift your bum away from your heels as you press the hips towards the front of the room. Hold there, breathing in. And then breathing out, sit your bum back down, come back towards center. On your next exhale, twist towards the left. Last one. Reach that right arm forward, left arm reaches back. Hold that belly back towards spine. Inhale. Exhale, left hand to the floor, option to leave the hips down or press them forwards as you feel that right side body become longer. Inhale, hold it. And exhale to return back. Draw yourself back round towards tabletop. Shoulders on top of, what are they? They're wrists. Hips on top of knees. And then coming into an extended tabletop. So left leg is going to reach out behind you. Keep it about as parallel to the mat as you can. And right arm to reach forwards. Keep that belly hugging in as if you're hollowing out the front of the body and reach through your fingertips and toes. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you breathe out, sweep the arm out to the right, sweep the leg out towards the left as you hold this star shape tabletop. Keep lifting that leg as tall as you can. Lift your right arm away from the mat. Inhale. And then exhale. Place that foot down onto the floor. Stack yourself up onto the knee so you're coming towards gate, making sure your ankle is in line with your knee. Left hand onto the thigh. Breathe in. Right arm reaches tall. And as you exhale, take a little side bend. Pull the arm away from the ribs and then roll that right rib cage back. The gaze can go to the sky if that feels nice, keeping a little tuck of your tailbone so the hips push forwards. Breathe into that right side, let it grow longer. And then as you exhale, come tall. Now your hands, you can do whatever it is that you like with. To the waist, let them balance. You're going to see if you can draw this left foot in back towards your mat. See if you can find a moment of balance on just your right knee. Wibble wobble, wibble wobble, wibble wobble. And then see if you can then place that foot out at the top of the mat into your lunge. So perhaps that was successful or moderately not successful. Just give it a little go, it's good fun. Placing that left foot at the top of the mat, so you've come into quite a long lunge. I want you to place your left hand onto your left bum cheek and your right hand onto your right bum cheek and your left hand onto your hip. Now tuck your tailbone strongly and squeeze that right glute. And I want your hand to be sort of your, to check that you're still doing that. So keep that glute squeeze the whole time. Breathing in, feel the length in the front of this right hip. Breathing out, let your hips drive forwards and down. Let that right hand check you're still squeezing the glutes. Breathing in, rise back out. Keep that tailbone tucked. You should feel it in your hip flexor. Breathing out, sink forwards and down. Keep the chest lifted. Breathing in, rising up, strong bum. Breathing out, sinking down. Now we're going to do 3 more. You can stay where you are, or perhaps you want to bring your front foot a little closer towards you so you end up lunging further over your ankle. Not something to do if you have knee issues. Keep your hand on your bum, tailbone tucks. Breathing in, breathing out, forwards and down, chest rises. Breathing in, breathing out, sinking. Keep the chest nice and broad. One more time, breathing in. And then breathing out, pause at the bottom of the lunge. Keep that glute nicely engaged, either keeping your left hand onto your waist or left hand to the floor. Breathe in, reach the right arm tall and then take a side bend out towards the left. If the floor is too far away, perhaps use a block. Otherwise, the left hand can stay onto the waist. Keep squeezing through that rear glute. Keep pressing down through the back foot. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Hand comes back to the mat. Foot swipes back towards tabletop as we enjoy all of that on the other side. So right leg reaches out behind you. I'm afraid that glute already feels a little bit tired. Left arm is reaching forwards for your extended tabletop. Keep that belly nice and firm. Breathe in, grow long. Breathing out, sweep the leg out to the right, the arm out to the left, and keep them as high away from the mat as you can. Think of yourself as a crossroads. That's what you're trying to make here. Hold it, inhale, lift a little higher. And then exhale, place it down. It feels lovely to put it down. That leg is so heavy. Stack yourself up tall onto this left leg. Realign the foot if you need to. Right hand beside you. Breathe in, left arm to the sky. Breathing out, little lean across towards that right side. Tailbone tucks, gaze goes under left side. Feel that left side body length. Great, breathe in. And breathe out to come up tall. See how our knee balancing goes on this time, on this side. Draw your foot a little closer to the mat. Give yourself a fighting chance. See if it can float, if it can hold. Keep your tailbone tucked, keep your core embraced. It's hard to talk and focus when you're trying to balance on your knee, and then place it out in front of you. A little bit longer than a boxy lunge is a nice place to start. Left hand to your bum, right hand to your waist. Tuck tailbone, squeeze left glutes, keep them squeezed, breathe in. Breathing out, forwards and down, strong glutes, press down through rear foot. Breathing in. Breathing out, option to adjust this front foot whenever you wish. Inhale to rise tall, keep squeezing, keep tucking. Exhale to drive down. Good, 3 more. Inhale to rise. Exhale to sink. It should really kind of ache in that left glute because it's staying contracted the whole time. Last 2. Exhale, sink forwards. Inhale. And then exhale, sinking to the lunge. Pausing when you're there. Keep that glute squeeze. Keep the legs very, very engaged. Right hand either stays to the waist or goes to the floor. Inhale, left arm rises. And then exhale, take the side bend. That left pelvis stays pushing a little bit forwards. Right sit bone stays moving a little bit backwards. Breathe into that left side. And then exhale, hand down to the floor. Foot to step back. Find yourself back towards tabletop and then into down dog. Maybe just move those knees backwards slightly, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, and finding that nice upside down V shape. Opening armpits wide, shoulder blades broad. Thighs pressing towards the back of the room. Deep breath in, fill the lungs. And a slow breath out. Great, take 1 more, breathe in. And breathe out. And then step your feet just a little bit more narrow, not all the way together because they'll get a little bit stuck. I want you to keep the chest pressing back so the upper body stays just as a down dog always is, but lift your heels high so you've come up onto the very balls of your feet. Let your feet pivot so your heels are pivoting out towards the right side of the mat, and then press them towards the mat. They don't have to touch down, but you should feel the length in your left side body as you push them down towards the right. Use the inhale to come back towards center, lift the heels as high as possible. Exhale, press them down towards the left. Push away through that right hand and feel the length there. Inhale, center and tall. Exhale 1 more time to the left. Inhale, center and tall. And exhale over towards the left. Good. As you come back towards center, roll your spine forwards into plank. Shoulders over wrists. Press away through your heels, tuck your tailbone as you hollow out through your belly. Keep broadening through shoulder blades. Inhale. And exhale. Great. Now we're coming onto our left hand for left-handed side plank. Right arm goes to the sky. You can either leave your feet staggered or you can stack 1 foot on top of the other. Keep the toes flexed so we've got good grip into our feet. Hold here, breathe in. As you breathe out, sink your bum down towards your heels as though you were going to sit down towards them. And then inhale, come all the way back up towards your side plank. We're going to do 2 more. Exhale, pushing down, strong through left hand, sink towards the bottom of your mat. Inhale, rise tall. And then last one, pushing those hips down. Pause at the bottom, pause, hold, and now sit down. Let your bum rest down where you were. Drop your legs. Let your hands slide away from you and your left hand can just support your head so you look like you're really chilling out. Top leg, turn your knee to face towards the sky and then kick that leg towards the sky. You can take your gaze up towards it if that's comfortable, but think of this leg as being as strong as you can. So it's a strength to press it towards the sky. Keep lifting, thinking of knee and thigh coming towards right shoulder. Hold it into the sky, breathing in And breathing out. Good, keep it strong, keep pulling it in, inhale. And then take your right hand to hold the back of the calf, the heel, any part of the leg that's available to you, and you can give it a little extra pull. Take a moment for the muscles to not have to work quite so hard and for you to passively stretch here. Now take one more deep breath in here. You're going to keep this leg in the sky. You've got to let go of it. Push yourself back up onto your hands. Keep the leg high. Spin yourself around towards tabletop. Just let your left knee move across a little bit. Keep the leg high and then push your way back into a three-legged down dog. Lift the knee. Right leg stays nice and tall in the sky and you're pressing the chest back towards that left leg. Now from here, get as much grounding through that left foot as you can. If you want to make your dog a little shorter, then do so. Gaze goes down towards the mat. See if your left hand can reach out alongside your body, turning it into a two-legged dog. Toes reach tall, fingertips reach away. If you have it, hold it. If you don't, keep trying. Inhale. As you exhale, let the hand come to the mat, the right foot steps to the top of the mat between the hands, stay onto the ball of the back foot. As you rise into a high lunge, keep the front knee on top of the front ankle, hands can come either to your waist or maybe in front of your chest if you're comfortable there. Squeeze again through those left glutes, let your hips drive forwards and down, chest stays tall on top of hips. Harder than it looks, I want you to lift your front heel so your front foot is coming right up onto the balls of your feet. Feel the wibbles and the wobbles. See if you can maintain that lift. Back heel is pressing away from you. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Let the heel go down, the hands come to the mat. Step your foot back and into down dog. Take 3 breaths here, taking whatever shapes you like, any little hip wiggles, any little leg wiggles. Shake away any frustrations that perhaps built up, and always do build up when we are challenged with our balance. Good, 1 more inhale. And exhale. Great, use the inhale. Roll your spine forwards into plank. Keep those shoulder blades broad, engage that core, so really hug the belly back, tuck the tailbone, and keep everything nice and firm. Coming onto our right hand for a side plank, left arm to the sky, option to keep the feet staggered or stack them one on top of the other. Breathe in, hold tall, hips are high. Breathing out, hips sink down towards your heels, right towards the back of the mat. Inhale, fire back into your side plank. Exhale, sinking down, hips nice and low, press into right hand. Inhale, file back. Last time, sinking low, make sure you pause for a moment first, and then just place your hips down where you found them. Right hand slides away from you. You can then use your hand to prop that head up, and then top left knee. Turn it to face the sky. From there, kick the toes tall. Get that leg as straight as you possibly can. But it doesn't need to be straight. It's an active stretch. You're pushing through your foot, thinking of thigh drawing towards left rib cage to keep the leg as high as possible. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep grounding through that right thigh, left toes to the sky. Take 1 more inhale. On the exhale, let your left hand hold whatever part of the leg is comfortable to give it a little extra stretch. Keep the muscles nice and firm, kneecap lifting towards hip for the quad, reaching through the toes. Great, inhale. And then exhale, let it go. Keep the leg as high as you possibly can. You should feel it into your hips when you do. Stack yourself up onto your hands. Turn back to face the top of the mat. Roll round towards tabletop. Just send your right knee back to the right side of the mat. Tuck those right toes, press the hips to the sky, three-legged dog. Hands, the whole hand is rooted down into the mat. Feel how much balance that you can get from your hands by gripping your fingertips against the floor. Right heel, if you can get it down, get it down. It gives you more balance and you can shorten your dog if you need to. Keep the gaze directly down at the mat and see if that right hand can reach towards the sky, following those left toes. Stay nice and firm through your core so that your whole body is working as one rather than a wibbly wobbly center. Breath is nice and smooth. We're certainly not holding our breath. We hold for one more inhale, which always feels like one breath too much. Exhale, left foot, step it to the top of the mat between the hands, make sure your feet are on train tracks, and then rise up towards your high lunge. Right glutes are engaged, back heel presses away, hands either to waist or hands in front of chest. Keep the weight sinking forwards and down. See if you can lift your front heel and really lift it as high as you can so that the ball of the foot is very much flexed. So you're really pulling tall, strength into that calf to help it lift. Stay focused with the gaze, stay focused with the breath, and you can curse me underneath your breath if you like. Holding tall, breathing in, and then breathing out. Drop the heel down, hands to go down, and step yourself back into down dog. Option to take a child's pose if you prefer. Allow your breath to lengthen out a little. Allow yourself to find a little bit of softness. We tend to get very sort of tense and stiff when we're trying to balance. Allow everything just to feel a little bit softer. Great, one more breath in. And then as you breathe out, just drop your knees for a moment. I'm going to give you the option here, guys. You can take this next exercise in either plank or forearm plank. I would say from personal experience that forearm plank is a little bit harder, but maybe not because you've got more balance. Basically, we're going to do some two-legged planks. So I'm going to do it in forearms just because that's what I did when I planned it. So I want you to come into plank of your choice. You're welcome to switch if you find that one is feeling a little bit too much. Keep that tailbone tucked, belly engaged, and shoulder blades broad. So we work in opposites. It's right arm and left leg that are going to lift and reach out and then place them back down. Switching sides, right leg, left arm, reaching out, and place them back down. As you keep switching here, take your time. The arm that is supporting you, really think of sinking it into the mat. So push down through the elbow if it's your forearm, push down through the palm if it's your plank, and keep that middle as firm as you can. Keep moving. Feet a little bit wider away from each other will give you a little bit more of a broader base. Two more, guys. It's aching, it's hurting. See if you can keep balance for your last two. And then exhale. Into puppy pose. So hips are going to stay high on top of your knees. You can take regular puppy pose with your arms out extended, or you can bend your elbows. Palms to come together. As you sink your chest and head between the upper arms, let your thumbs come towards your shoulder blades into shark fin. Deep breath in. Slowly let it back out. Feel your body sink down. Again, breathing in. And breathing out. Great. Release your shark fin if you took it. Walk your hands all the way back. Maybe just come forwards a little bit. We're coming towards camel. Knees are hip distance apart and toes to be tucked under. Before we move anywhere, tuck the tailbone, find that glute squeeze again. So the front of the body is nice and flat. Hands to come to your waist. As you inhale, lift up through your ribs, keep the hips pushing forwards. As you exhale, pin your elbows back behind you. Chest turns as much as it can to face the sky. Option to stay supporting the lower back, or the hands can come to find your heels. If you are experienced with your camels, of course, you can take this without the toe tuck. Squeezing those glutes to push the hips forwards, broadening through the chest. Think of the shoulder blades squeezing towards each other. See if we can find some movement. Inhale, left arm reaches all the way up and over. You can look a little bit towards your right. Exhale, send it back onto that heel. Breathing in, right arm reaches up and over. Look a little bit towards your left. And exhale to sink it back to your heels. Take your hands back to your waist, strong through your core to slowly rise yourself all the way upright. And then sitting back down towards your heels with your toes staying tucked under. So a little bit of fun onto the balls of our feet. So keeping your feet roughly hip distance apart with as much control as possible. Let your knees stay a little bit wider. I want you to see if you can lift your knees, drop your heels and reach your arms forwards between your knees. So you're coming into quite a narrowed foot squat to then come all the way back up onto the balls of the feet and place the knees down, no dropping. We're going to move between the two shapes, so give yourself a couple of goes to get used to it. Let the weight shift backwards As the heels drop down, the chest has to counterbalance and reach forwards to save you plopping onto your bum. Come forwards and slowly lower the knees back down. Again, to come up, to go back, to come up and go forward. So do 3 more at your own speed, forwards and back, trying not to fall onto your bum. And then on your final one, I want you to pause into that low squat. If the heels aren't quite going down, don't worry. Try and press them down, reach those arms forwards. Option to stay here, trying to sink the heels if they're not down yet. Otherwise, see if your hands can sweep around, so arms in front of shins. Come to hold the back of your own ankles as your chin falls towards your chest. Feel the shin muscles have to work hard to hold your balance here. Keep the chest rounding forwards. Hold it, breathe in. And then breathing out, come forward. Let your ankles and shins relax. I always feel that that's making a muscle work that I never think of as much as a muscle. So again, we're moving to a point of multiple options. You can either take this opportunity to work on your crow pose. You can take this opportunity to work on any arm balance you like, but I'm going to guide us through what you could call a one-legged crow or a flying crow, but with optimism, because it might not be as challenging as perhaps you think it is at first. So if you want to take different variations, please go ahead. So I want you to set up just as you would for crow. The hands are pointing forwards just like they would for plank. I'm going to come up onto the balls of my feet and get the chunky part of my knee and the tricep sort of connected, just as I would as if I was about to do crow. Now, once I lift my hips, and we're gonna come towards the left side first. So the left knee and tricep are gonna stay very much connected. That is going to be our balance point. So we've come up high. Now just draw your right knee towards the center. We're not using that leg. Before we think of going forwards towards crow, it's not the same. We have to shift the weight. So I want you to think of your chest and your head moving off towards the right side of the mat as your hips and feet move off towards the left. So suddenly your body is on a diagonal, but you've not changed your hands. So now that left knee and left tricep are connected. Let that heel lift first. Now go forwards, but it's diagonally forwards, and perhaps that right foot can hug in towards your body. Let yourself come down. If we're going to do it one more time on this same side, if that is feeling like absolutely no way, but you're still wanting to try and challenge yourself further, take this right hand as a funky arm. So it goes to forearms instead. So where the hand was for your plank or your crow is roughly where your elbow will go. Now, that left knee on the back of that tricep, now look forwards towards your fingertips, go towards them, and perhaps you can find that shape a little more easier. Is that the right way to say it? A little more easier. It should feel easier because not only do you have more surface area, but you've got a lot more distance to send your weight forwards to allow the hips to lift. So that's it on left side. Take a few breaths. Let's try it on the other side. So again, hands like crow. First, we face forwards. Identify that right knee to the right tricep and then offset. So my hips and my feet are going to come to the very right side of the mat. My chest and head are thinking of going out towards the left. Let those hips go high, just like they do for normal crow. Find that knee on the back of the tricep and that foot hugs in towards your bum first. So then it would be your left foot, the second one, to leave the floor as you lean out towards the left. Oh, it's hard to talk as you do that. Again, you can work on that variation, or you can drop the elbow and the hand to rest down. Those that are really soaring here, that tucked leg could attempt to extend out. I'm not going to demo that, guys. I'm exhausted. So that is your flying crow. Perhaps it's your funky flying crow if you've got the elbow down, or you're working on your regular crow and thinking that maybe one day that crow will become a flying crow. So once you've come down, or perhaps fallen down, let yourself come to child's pose. Knees are going to go relatively wide, bum to heels. Slide the hands away. Let your forehead rest to the floor. Great. As you press your way back up towards tabletop, lift the hips back into down dog, finding that length through the spine, reopening out through the shoulders. Breathing in and breathing out. Great. With your right leg, as you inhale, send it towards the sky, three-legged dog, left heel stays heavy. On the exhale, step that foot right between the hands at the top of the mat, so it's on the center line of the mat. Drop the back heel down as you rise into warrior two. Front knee bending on top of front ankle, widening the thighs away from each other as you press into the outer edges of your feet. Straighten through the front leg, engage through the front quad, moving into triangle. Reach the right fingertips forwards, think of hips moving backwards. Side body is long, and then right hand either to the shin, to a block. Maybe if your hamstrings are feeling long, the floor is in reach, but there's really no need to crank yourself down to the floor if you can find a hamstring stretch further up. Lift the kneecap, engage this front quad, and really think of pushing down through the front foot as if you're trying to drag it towards the back of the mat. That's going to become particularly helpful if you take the next variation. If you're done with all the balancing, then just stay in triangle. See if you can lift your back heel. So you're going to come onto the ball of the back foot. Yeah. It's challenging of the weight shifting left to right. Keep the hips pulling under. Pull that heel up and away from the floor. And then exhale, left hand comes down. Drop the heel if it hadn't already fallen by itself. Walk your hands towards the left so you come into a wide-legged fold. Let your toes turn a little bit inwards so that the feet are parallel with the short edge of your mat. Fingertips to the floor as you inhale, halfway rise, chest pulls forwards. Engage your quads as you exhale, fold. If your hands can find the floor, let them press down against the floor as you push kind of above your head to help your fold. Otherwise, your hands can rest to blocks or to shins. Keep your quads engaged by lifting those kneecaps up towards hips, and the weight is ever so slightly forwards. Great. Hands to come to your waist with an inhale, rise your way all the way up to stand. And now let your heels turn slightly inwards so your toes point ever so slightly outwards. We're going to come into some variations of a little bit like a Skandasana, a little bit like a wild warrior. They're really good stretches, they're lovely. So I want you to not think of sinking bum towards heel. We don't want to go all the way down, but right sit bone towards right heel. Drive the knee wide. Think of sinking your hips down and back, left toes stay rooted. Now look towards the right foot, out towards that foot. Right hand is going to step way off behind you. You almost kind of have to like land back onto it. As you inhale, left arm goes up and back over your left ear. And it should be a big old hip stretch, left side body opening. Keep driving that right knee wide. Take a deep breath in as you hold. And then a strong, powerful little push into that right hand to help you draw all the way back to center. Kind of funky, but if you can find your way into it or struggle your way into it, it's a lovely, lovely stretch. Try it onto the left side. Bend left sit bone down towards heel. Keep the heels and toes down. Think of it as sort of like a side squat first. Look out in that direction. You're going to go sort of off the back of the mat in that left side. A little drop down towards that hand, and then breathing in, right arm up and over. Reach out through those right toes. Keep drawing this left knee sort of wide, so you're thinking of drawing it towards your chest. Lengthen that right side, breathe in. And then breathing out. Push your way back. Walk your hands all the way back to the top of the mat. Turn your toes with you so you're coming into down dog. Step the foot back. Take 2 deep breaths. Last one. Great. Left leg inhale to the sky. 3-legged dog. Exhale, step it forwards. Right smack bang between the hands. Drop the back heel as you rise into warrior two. Chest is nice and broad, shoulder blades pinched together. Option to shorten your stance a little for your triangle if you want to. Straighten front leg, reach front fingertips forwards, and as you exhale, find that sort of sideways fold. Gaze goes towards right fingertips. Think of that right rib cage rolling back as the left hip pulls under. Option to try that balance by lifting the back heel off of the mat. Front leg has to stay particularly strong and engaged to help you hold that stretch and balance better than I am. Take one more deep breath in. Think of lengthening both sides of the body, particularly that left side. And then exhale. Let your hands spin down towards the floor. Turn your toes to be parallel with the short edge of your mat for your wide-legged fold. Inhale, chest lengthens forwards, find length in your torso. And as you exhale, fold either hands to the floor, you can take hands to the outsides of your ankles. If you want to work on a tripod headstand, go ahead. If you worked on your sort of straddle press, now is a good point. I'm not guiding us through that though. Each inhale is lengthening through your spine. Crown of the head grows down towards the floor. And the exhale to keep allowing the body to fold. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Let your hands come to your waist, soft bend in the knees. As you inhale, rise your way up to stand. And again, let those heels turn a little bit inwards. Because it's likely an unusual shape for many of us, we're going to take those same shapes again, see if we can find a little bit more comfort in them. So hips are going to go down and back towards that right heel. Chest stays forward, so you're in this sort of side lunge first. Start to think about going towards the back of the mat, but then go behind yourself. Right hand places to the floor, left arm then reaches up and over. Keep grounding down through the soles of the feet. Draw this right knee wider. Reach through those left toes. Breathe in. And then strong push into that right arm to draw yourself all the way back round before coming to the left side. Bend the knee, sink the hips down and back. Side squat. Look towards the front line of the mat. Left hand is going to reach off behind you. Keep the ball of the foot down. Right arm reaches all the way up and back. Great, take a deep breath in and then power your way back round. Turn yourself to face the back of the mat. This time, before we go to down dog, I want you to drop down your back knee. Front foot is going to stay quite wide at the top of the mat. Right hand stays where it is. Left hand is going to spin all the way up and over to grab your back foot. Give it a gentle encouragement in towards your hip to stretch through that quad that's done a lot of work for us today. So if it's feeling tight, that's why. Heel towards bum, but bum is running away from it. And give the top of the right knee a gentle press against the floor. Great, last breath in. And then breathing out, let it go. Walk your way round to face the back of the mat to take that same shape on the other leg. Left knee drops down, keeping that right foot relatively wide. Right hand spins up and over to grab that back foot and stretch through that left quad. Keep the chest with a little bit of a twist, turning out towards the right. Drawing that heel in towards your bum, keeping that left glute engaged. Lovely, breathing in. And then breathing out, letting it go. Turn yourself around to the top of the mat and just let yourself come down onto your knees. Same as before, we've got a couple of things to work on depending on where you are in your practice. We're coming into an inversion of some sort. So whether or not for you that is a tripod headstand, supported headstand, please do whatever feels most appropriate for you. I'm going to guide us through an advanced pose, scorpion pincher, but you're very, very welcome if you have it available to you to do it at the wall. So if you know your scorpion pincher, go ahead. Scorpion pincher is the back bending one. So it really is the epitome of bending and balancing in one go. But having a wall there for security, safety, making sure that you're not going to go tumbling into some bit of furniture close to you. Please make sure you're practicing this safely. So other options available. Try a tripod headstand. You can take a child's pose if you prefer. So if you're going to come into your scorpion pincher, we want to think of our forearms being parallel to one another and the thumbs can butt in towards each other, and that's going to stop our hands sliding in and our elbows sliding out, which is not what we want. So let your thumbs act as stoppers for each other. We can keep that grip of the fingertips against the floor by pressing them down, broaden through your shoulder blades. Now, obviously, coming into pincher, you might be at a point where you're just practicing pincher. You're not ready to be practicing variations yet. And if that's you, you're going to take one leg towards the sky and think of that leg kicking the ceiling as your second leg tries to take little kicks of your bum as you start to work yourself towards finding balance here. So maybe that's you right now. If you're someone that can find balance into your pincher, first, before thinking of bending, keep your gaze down towards the mat and let your big toes come to find each other. So it doesn't matter how bendy you think you are. With those big toes together, Oh, she says, losing it. Keep your gaze moving forwards towards your thumbs as your heels start to come towards your bum. Now keep looking forwards as you think of squeezing your glutes, squeezing your lower back, and finding a little bit of a curve. Now keep pushing into those elbows. Rise your chest as far away from the mat as you can. Finding, if you're at the wall, you can start to tiptoe your feet ever so slightly down. So if you are practicing this at the wall, don't be too close because you won't have that distance for the legs to be reaching over. So make sure if you're at the wall, give yourself about at least a hand's distance before your fingertips start. I don't have a wall to show you. Your feet to find the wall, and then start to let the knees bend as the feet walk down. The chest lifts to look towards the wall, and there might be a point. You never kick your feet off the wall. There might be a point where suddenly the feet just leave it. But it's not something that happens just like that. Wherever you are with practicing whatever shape that you're practicing right this moment, give yourself a little, finish it off. There's no rush. Come to child's pose when you are done. Give it as many goes as you want. I know what it's like to get addicted to trying to learn to do something upside down. So take your time to come to child's pose, particularly if you did a scorpion variation, because you really strengthen that lower back. You're taking it from one direction to the next. So nice and slowly to sink the body towards the thighs. Allow your breath to return to something a little more slow, feeling the calming effect of slowing the breath on your brain. And allow your body to feel heavy down against the mat. Great. From there, allow yourself to rise out of your child's pose and come down onto your belly in whichever fashion you see fit. Sending your arm now either out straight, palm in line with shoulder, or if you've got a little bit more flexibility to work with, bend your elbow and make a cactus shape with your arm to really get into a stretch for your front shoulder. Let this chest and shoulder and the side of the head rest against the floor, and then roll yourself onto your right side. Your top left leg can either stay stacked on top of the other, or you can step it off behind you to help keep your body on one side. But it's a big stretch for this upper body on the right side, which has done a lot of work for us today. So go steady. Take a straight arm if you like. And then come back via your belly and find the same shape, whatever it was, on the other side. Shoulder sinks down. You don't even have to go all the way over onto your side. Just using your right hand to encourage your body weight in that direction is enough. Feel like you're focusing your breath into that left upper chest. And then again, rolling all the way back onto your back. Let yourself push up via your knees. You can step the knees forwards, cross the ankles until you roll over onto your sit bones. Feet out in front of you, and then slowly and controlled to unravel all the way down onto your backs. Back of the head and the shoulders rest down, and then the knees to hug in to give yourself a nice little hug. From there, let the knees fall over to the right side of the mat. The left arm reaches out in the opposite direction to take a nice heavy twist. Try to allow the breath to continue to slow, but still keeping it strong and purposeful, filling down to the bottom of the lungs. You can then roll your legs back via center, let them go all the way over to the left side. Right arm reaches out. And again, take a couple of deep breaths, expanding into your belly. And then rolling back on back, stepping your legs away from you and releasing your arms alongside you to allow your body to find a nice comfortable shape to fully relax into, a well-deserved rest. Let your eyes close, your face soften, and the body to feel like it's melting down into the mat. And then take yourself a deep breath in. Reach your arms up and overhead as you point through your toes. And then hug the knees in towards the chest to give yourself a soft little squeeze. You can then find your way back to a comfortable seat, however works best for you, stacking the chest tall on top of your hips. With your final inhale, send the arms to the sky and grow tall. And your final exhale to lower your hands towards your belly and your chin towards your chest. Thanks guys for joining me this morning for what was definitely a very challenging class. So I hope there were many elements that challenged you and pushed you and perhaps enabled you to find some poses maybe that you've never tried before, or just to enjoy the effort of attempts. Those that had a particular interest in arm balances, you may have seen that I released a video this morning, and more information is going on my Instagram today, is that I've got an upcoming workshop. I know some of you joined me for my last one. This is a practical based workshop that's upcoming, all on arm balances. So like those crow variations that we tried, it's all about building the right strength, understanding how the body finds that balance, the physics of it really, without that sounding boring, and ways that you can work on them, and how to enter, how to exit, how to make them more challenging if you need, or how to make them more accessible if you need. So you'll see the video on my page, and I'll drop a little link into the comment below this video. But I'd love for you to join me for that. Thanks so much for your time this morning. If you're able to donate to this class, I am very appreciative of your support, and the link to my PayPal is in the description. Have a